All right, my friends, welcome. This is lessons 21 and 22, both from the Stedman Aeneid textbook. This is Aeneid, book 2, line 768 at the start of lesson 21, all the way through 795. That's where lesson 22 stops. For my students, there is not your quiz won't cover all of it. Your quiz is going to only cover the Latin starting at 775. So you can ignore those first bit of lines. But I am going to read them because they are beautiful and important. Remember, Aeneas has just fled Troy. The Greeks have come out of the Trojan horse. They are ransacking the city. He kind of can't decide, am I going to flee? Am I going to stay and fight? Am I going to flee? Am I going to stay and fight? Finally, he is convinced to flee, and then his dad doesn't want to go, and the gods send a ring of fire for Ulysses' head, and Anchises, his dad, is convinced that Ulysses is important and going to be an emperor, so they have to go. So they head out. He carries Anchises, who's carrying the Lares, and leads Ascanius, and they're running towards Rome figuratively. So that's when Aeneas kind of embodies pietas. He has finally stopped his waffling. Am I going to stay and fight? Am I going to go? He stops. He really understands and shows off his pietas. He's got his dad, his kid, the gods. He's running to go found this country. He really embodies pietas. And as he gets to the outside of the city and sets his dad down, he realizes that Creusa, is his wife, is not with them. And he goes back into the city to look for her. So again, this devotion to his family. Excuse me. He runs back in and he is quite upset that he can't find her. These first few lines from 768 to 774, I'm just going to read to you. I found a good translation that's poetic because I think it really shows off how deeply Aeneas feels for Creusa, how deeply he loves her, which is kind of in contrast to what we normally think of as a Roman marriage. Roman marriages were often a business transaction. They're looking for concordia, not amor. They often find amor in another relationship outside of their marriage. It's complicated. But remember, Augustus, who's paying Virgil to write this, is trying to legislate morality laws. He wants the one woman, one man marriage to be legally what everyone is doing, and that anything outside of that is illegal. So he is Augustus is trying to get this kind of marriage that we see here legalized, which is one piece of propaganda. But if we're talking about the tension of the Aeneid being both propaganda and being a really beautiful story of a hero and his family and his hard life to found Rome, this is a really great point. This is both propaganda praising a marriage in the way that Augustus wants marriages to be. And look at how deeply Aeneas is upset by and longs for his wife and is heartbroken that she's died. So this is just a really good explanation of that tension between it is propaganda, it is an epic, it is a beautiful story of human emotion. It can be both propaganda and literature, and that's a really hard tension. So it's just a great example. All right, this first bit, I'm starting at 768. I'm just going to read through a good translation I found for you. Just for those first few lines, right? It says, I even dared to hurl my shouts through the shadows. I filled the streets with my shouting, and miserable, I called for Creusa in vain, groaning again and again, searching and tearing through the city's roofs without an end. Unlucky, the ghost of Creusa herself was seen by me before my eyes, larger than her known appearance, meaning her ghost is a little bigger. That's how Romans thought of ghosts. I was dumbfounded, and my hair stood on end and my voice stuck in my throat. So he sees her, she's larger than life. That's how Romans think ghosts look. And he stops and his hair stands on end, right? His hair kind of prickles on the back of his neck and his voice sticks in his throat. So he's just dumbfounded to see this woman that he loves and is married to and has a child with and all of these good things. is a ghost and he's kind of struck dumb. But then she speaks. This is where your quiz picks up at line 775. So I will start annotating over here. Then, in this way, she speaks and she demare, let's come up with a good word for this. She like takes away my cares with these words. Those are both historical infinitives. They look like infinitives. They are infinitives. They're functioning as present tense verbs. So then she speaks thus, and she takes away my worries with her words, with these words. That's a really beautiful thing to say, that your spouse is able to speak away your worries. All right. This next sentence, the main subject is actually an infinitive. It's indulgere, to indulge. Your verb is euot, helps. And then the direct object is quid. It helps what? To indulge helps what? But it looks weird because it means, or it has additional direct object for the word indulge. So to indulge in such insane grief helps what? If we were going to phrase it as a question, we might say, what does it help to indulge such insane grief? Oh, sweet spouse. These things, that's your subject, are not happening. These things are not happening without the divinity, the power of the gods. That's really devorum. There's a syncope in there. These things are not happening without the blessing, without the divine power, without the divinity of the gods. It's a fancy way to say that the gods have let this happen on purpose. I'm going to take neck as an and then put the not with my verb, but the verb is missing. There's an est that should go probably here. That's just missing. So, and it is not fos. Remember, that is a complicated word. It means like right, righteous. It's not the proper thing to be happening according to the gods and to fates. So, and it is not fos that you should take away, should carry away Creusa as a companion from here. It is not right that you should carry away from here Creusa as a companion, or your companion Creusa, meaning he can't take her as his wife. He has to go and she has to stay. I am going to take the negative from neck and apply it to this verb sinit as well. So it's not fos, or that ruler of Upper Olympus does not allow it. We might say it is neither fos nor does he allow it. That'd be fine. They don't put another neck in there. He needs a long syllable. So he puts out. So or maybe nor, does that ruler of Upper Olympus allow it? Notice the ABAB on line 779. All right, these last few lines, I'm switching colors because this is another person iterating the prophecy that Aeneas will found a city and be the king in Italy again. And this is setting up both that he is going to have a long exile and that he will eventually get into like where the Tiber is. And he this is Creusa's version. It goes on the next few lines. I just have to scroll. I can't see them quite yet. Okay. There's a verb missing here. It's probably an erunt, like a future. The exiles will be long for you. That's a poetic plural, saying your exile. The exile for you will be long. And the vast, like evenness of the sea. Oh, I want a better word for ichor. Maybe the vast goodness, like the vast flat of the sea, the vast surface of the sea must be plowed. There's an est missing in there. Must be plowed. That's a gerundive of obligation. The vast surface of the sea must be plowed. It means he has to go sailing. He has to sail away. Don't just walk to this next place. You have to get in a boat and sail. And you will come, that's a future, to the Hesperian lands. That's Italy, where the Lydian Tiber flows between rich, that's not a good underline, between rich fields of men in a gentle battle line. So the exiles for you will be long, and the vast surface of the sea must be plowed. And you will come to the Hesperian land, where the Lydian Tiber flows between rich fields of men in a soft or gentle battle line. That last bit about the Tiber is interesting because the fields around Rome are not particularly fertile, but they'll grow enough. And then already they are mentioning the Tiber as a battle line. It's protective. That word agmine draws to mind a whole bunch of Roman soldiers all in a row, and it is protective of Rome from the outset. It is a good protective fortress. Okay, I'm going to erase these and I will read through from 775 on smoothly, and then I am going to move on to the next part. I know this is going to be a long video. Sorry about that. All right, I'm just going to start from tomb on 775. 775. Then, thus she spoke, and she took away his worries with these words. What does it help to indulge such insane grief, O sweet spouse? These things are not happening without the divinity of the gods. And it is not right that you should carry away Creusa as a companion from this place, and that ruler of Upper Olympus does not allow it. The exiles will be, excuse me, the exiles will be long for you, and the vast surface of the sea must be plowed. And you will come to the Hesperian land, where the Lydian Tiber flows between rich fields of men in a soft battle line. All right, I'm going to scroll to lesson 22 so that we can read that as well. Her speech keeps going. Remember, we are right in the middle of her kind of telling her version of the prophecy, and she is going to keep doing that. So here in this place, oh, sorry. There we go. Here in this place, a happy situation. Hold on. It's here. A happy situations, it's plural, and a kingdom and a royal spouse will be prepared or have been, it's not prepared, it's produced. I'm so sorry. Have been produced for you. I mean, they're already waiting for you there. There's joy and a kingdom and a royal spouse already waiting for you there. If they're already there, if you are going to get remarried in this happy place, you can't take Creusa with you. So she's a little bit of a plot device, because I need Creusa to have existed so that Iulus, the Trojan, can be born in Troy. But if I'm gonna, in the second half of the book, need Aeneas to go in and become king, he has to be able to marry in. So Creusa is here a little bit of a plot device. But again, that tension, she's a plot device, but this is beautiful, right? She is assuaging all his fears with his fears with her words and giving him permission to move on and go do what he needs to do. That's a really beautiful thing. All right, this is an infinitive here. That's your verb. Put aside, push away your tears for beloved Creusa. Oh, so sad. I will not see the known up there. I will not see the proud seats, that's a metonymy, of the Myrmidons or of the Dolopes. Those are both Greek groups. The Myrmidons are notable because that is the men of Achilles that was such a foe in the Trojan War. And then the Dolopes, Dolopes, are Greeks who live near the Myrmidons. So I will not see the proud seats of the Myrmidons, or see that they in there, of the Dolopes, or go, so I won't see and I won't go, right? Go into servitude to Greek mothers. That's saying that even though she can't go to Italy with him. And even though he might feel sad, she's actually okay because the thing that's happening to all of the other women and children in Troy is they are being rounded up and sold into slavery to the Greeks. So she's saying, I don't have to do that, right? I can't go with you, but I also don't have to be sold into slavery. That's a big deal. So I will not see the lofty seats, the proud seats of the Myrmidons or the Dolopes, and I will not go into servitude to Greek mothers. Now, this whole last line is nominative describing I, Creusa, I, a Trojan, and the daughter-in-law of divine Venus. She's saying, I'm a Trojan. I'm the daughter-in-law of Venus. I'm not going into slavery. But the great mother of the gods, this is referring to Cybele, Cybele, Cybele. She's referred to as the great mother. But the great mother of the gods detains me on these shores. She's kept in Troy. And now, goodbye. This is like literally like farewell, like FAIR space WELL. Farewell. Be well. Do good. And preserve. This is another imperative. Both Wale and Serwa are imperative. Preserve the love of our shared son. Oh, that breaks my heart. She's like, be good and take care of our baby. It's so good. Such a good one. So then notice she stops talking. This portion, she is Aeneas responding. This is another part where you can tell he loves her, right? When she gave these words, I would have made it pluperfect when she had given these words, but I don't think he has the space. When she gave these words, she deserted me crying. There's no word for me, but we know it's a me, Aeneas, because we switched back to him talking. She deserted the crying one. That's Aeneas. Me crying and wanting to speak more things, wanting to say more things. And she receded into thin airs. That's a great word picture there. Do you see how recede is in the middle of thin airs? That is also an anastrophe where the adjective is outside of the prepositional phrase. This next part, I hope that you will think back and remember that Odysseus, when he goes to the underworld, 3 times tries to reach after his mom to get a hold of her. He just wants to hold her and hug her and kind of cling to her. And 3 times he reaches out. This is a direct reference to that Aeneas is about to reach out to Creusa 3 times. It is also drawing your attention to the fact that, remember, Aeneas has just been waffling between should I go and should I stay and fight? He's waffling. And we see that going as the new Pietas, the new hero who is marked by Pietas versus the old hero who is marked by glory, right? And here we are comparing him to Odysseus again, but seeing that he does it well. Right, so it says 3 times I tried. There's a sum missing in here, conatus sum, from that deponent verb. It's just a perfect active because really deponent. So 3 times I tried there to give my arms around her neck. Dare, kirkum is really kirkum dare. That's a temesis where you split a word into its 2 parts and put them kind of far apart. 3 times I tried there to give my arms around her neck. 3 times having been grabbed in vain. Oh, 3 times he tried to grab her. 3 times having been grabbed in vain, the image, the ghost, flees my hands. Then, in vain, having been grabbed, the image flees my hands. Equal to light winds and very similar to like a sleep bird. to an asleep bird to a sleeping verb. Notice that somno is a noun. It's not actually an adjective. When we have two nouns that are describing, like where we in English would use a noun and an adjective, we would say a sleeping bird. They do not. They use it's called a hendiadys. They use two nouns. It's weird. That's what it's called. All right. The very similar to a sleeping bird. Thus, with the night having, sorry, I was trying to decide the order. Thus, with the night having been consumed, meaning it is already daybreak. It is already time for him to go. At last, I revisit my companions, meaning he goes back outside the city walls to his companions. All right, this was so long and I apologize. Let me erase this and I will read it through for you once quickly. She said so confidently. All right. There, happy matters and a kingdom and a royal spouse have been produced for you. Put down your tears for beloved Creusa. I will not see the lofty seats of the Myrmidons and the Dolopes, and I will not go into servitude to Greek mothers. I, a Trojan and the daughter-in-law of divine Venus. But the great mother of the gods detains me on these shores. And now farewell, and preserve the love of our shared son. When she gave these words, she deserted me, crying and wanting to say more things, and she receded into thin airs. 3 times I tried there to give my arms around her neck. 3 times, having been grabbed in vain, the ghost fled my hands, equal to the light winds and very similar to a sleeping bird. Thus, at last, with night having been consumed, I revisited my companions. All right, y'all, that was like the longest video ever. Thank you for listening.